You ever notice how your voice tells the truth before you do? That little catch in your throat when you want to say no, but you don't? Or the way your chest tightens when you're trying to keep the peace? In today's conversation, we are going straight to the heart and the throat with voice activation coach Beth Noelle, the creator of Path Authentic Voice. We're talking power, acceptance, truth, and heart, and then how reconnecting with your voice can literally shift your nervous system, your energy, and your life. And because everything is in the timing, it is Black Friday week, which means that the Radical Resilience Workbook and audio journey officially will drop. These are your new tools for rewiring your burnout, healing emotional overload, and coming home to your calm. So stick around until the end for details on how to enter to win those cool tools. And for now, take a deep breath, unclench your jaw, and let's dive in. Welcome to Mindset Medicine with Dr. Tanya Burfield, where science meets soul, burnout meets boundaries, and high achieving women finally stop performing and start healing. I am a resilience and transformation expert, nervous system strategist, and recovering overfunctioner just like you. This podcast is your sanctuary for breaking cycles, rewriting stories, and reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your power. Each week, we blend neuroscience, somatic practices, and spiritual truth to help you unlearn the noise and remember who you really are. You're not broken. You're breaking free. And this is your medicine. All right. I have with me today the most lovely human being I think I probably have ever met. Her name is Beth Noelle, and she is creator and facilitator of Path of Authentic Voice. So I am super excited for this conversation. Hi, Beth. How are you?
Hi. Wow, what a sweet introduction. The pleasure is all mine.
Oh,
Let's
thanks so
go.
much. Here we are. So we
Yeah.
met briefly a couple of weeks ago. Someone else actually introduced us because our worlds align. And so we got together, had a nice conversation. We're like, yep, we need to do this. So why don't we just kick it off? And this is generally pretty easy, but why don't we just kick it off with like, tell us who you are and what you do and how you got here.
Yes. Well, Beth Noelle, and I am a voice activation coach, and I love connecting people with their voices and enlivened expression. And I find that so many people are estranged from their voices
Mm.
and enlivening expression that I just delight in meeting with people and helping people through Path of Authentic Voice to find their voices that are pure of heart, fiercely true, and radiantly alive. That's what I'm
That
all
sounds
about.
beautiful. Hmm.
It's great fun. And I myself am a singer. I sang from a very young age and sang in choirs in school, and then teachers talked to me about the talent that I had and, "Oh, you should take lessons," and that was kind of the beginning of the end, actually.
I love it. I will
Oh,
tell you, like, it makes so much sense to me, and I'm taking us off track already, but we'll come
no,
back.
please.
Like, I
Mhm.
just love there's something about voice that is so just, I don't know, cerebral, and it just feels so good, and so I do not have a singing voice. I'm saying in quotes for those that aren't watching. I have, one of my kids especially is super musically talented, and I love to sing with him. He does not love it when I sing with him, but there's just
Uh,
something about that we'll circle back to here at some point because I think there's a lot to be said about how we would use this in sort of wellness and holistic coaching and those sorts of things. But tell us more about like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and really the work came from, becoming a voice teacher fresh out of college as my own voice was shutting down, and I was wondering if I would continue
Mm,
singing because I was such a head case, honestly, and,
yeah,
not a person
we've
who
all
was
had our
walking the
moments.
path at that point in time, but people started telling me their stories, really. The family member that said, "Shut up, I can't stand to hear you sing," or the choir teacher
Mm,
said that, "There's no place in choir here for you because you have an awful voice." I'm being hyperbolic, but not so much. And it was
right.
very convenient that, what I discovered is that if people were estranged from their voices, it invariably had to do with some kind of disconnection with, either power, acceptance, truth, and or heart. And how
Mhm.
convenient that that's P-A-T-H, power, acceptance, truth, heart.
Right. Right.
And so I started, working with people and the stories that they had, the trauma they had around
Mhm.
vocal expression, and, uh, people found their voices and just the joy of expressing and being in partnership with voice. And when a voice is connected with power, acceptance, truth, and heart, and some good vocal technique, then what do you wanna be up to with your voice? What do you
Mhm.
and your voice want to create together,
Mhm.
regardless of what anyone else around you thinks, says, or does?
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
It's
alignment,
fantastic.
alignment, and
Yes.
your book,
Yes. Mhm.
Radical Resilience, and you talk about alignment, you talk about nervous system regulation, that,
Yep.
any more these days, it's less about actually singing. I mean, yes, I do work with professional singers.
Mhm.
Um, we're singing all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have to have a piece of sheet music in front of you. You don't have to be in a professional choir. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Anytime your vocal cords are flapping, you're singing, and there is an
Yes.
invitation there to play and to align with power, acceptance, truth, and heart. And what does that bring to your voice? What it does is it unlocks your authentic, radiant, joyful, powerful expression.
Mm.
Yes.
It's so
Yeah.
big, like, it's so big. There's so many facets to this is I think why I find it so fascinating. So before we dig in a little bit more to that, I'm curious,
Mhm.
like, so you when you went to college, it was for something music related, right?
Music performance and piano
Performance, okay,
accompaniment, singing and
perfect.
piano.
And
Yeah.
then so you end up in this area where I think it sounds like you were giving lessons and then it turns into this thing that you're coaching without even maybe recognizing that you're coaching. So is there like a flip? Is there somewhere that at what point do you realize that this is what I'm actually doing and what I'm really feeling called to do?
I think I knew that's a great question. From my own experiences having voice lessons where I went into the room and really had no business singing because I
Mhm.
had so much going on.
Yeah.
Um, and then working with people through voice, if there's a song that they have to learn and they are getting ready to sing, just from my own experience and working with people, it became very clear very quickly that what was needed first and foremost was working with the person,
Mhm. Yeah.
and then
Yeah, you
we
can't
work
be
with the voice.
tangible and technical until you get to the root of everything, which is
No,
always what holistic
no.
wellness is about.
Yes, yes, and there's trust and there's safety, and if I'm in a state of dysregulation,
Oh my
if
goodness.
I'm
Yeah.
if I'm feeling disempowered, if I
Mhm.
am, in a state of resistance, if I don't know who I am, the truth of who I am, what I value, what I stand for, what I live by, if my heart is broken,
Mhm.
voice is gonna be like, "No way am I coming out to
Right.
play.
Right.
No way." And I could hammer at something, Tanya, through vocal technique until the cows came home, and voice would not cooperate. And then
Yep.
you connect a person to their power and you say, "Now sing it." It's
Yes.
the honor, the awe that I am in constantly to get to witness someone's voice showing up
Mhm.
and opening up,
Yeah.
and the delight other than tears, when they come and sit in my chair and we have them breathe for the first time, and they're
Mhm.
holding this long, estranged, disconnected desire, dream from singing, and
Yeah.
they're here, and it's right there, and they have this sense that it's there for them, and they just cry. Like,
Mhm.
it's like, "Yeah, you
Yeah,
can cry sometimes."
I think about it from their standpoint and how rewarding that would be, but then I'm thinking about that from your standpoint. So, to be a voice or a vocal teacher and to do that technical work and to get somebody to do something positive is great. Like you're doing the work that you're meant to be doing. But to be able to unlock and to be able to help someone and to work through something in order to then perform differently or better, or show up for themselves in a way that they didn't maybe expect, that has to feel like that is powerful for you, it is powerful for them, but it also has to
Uh,
feel so, like, fulfilling for you to be able to do that
Great
for
word.
someone.
Great word. I'm
Mhm.
sure you similarly, same
Yeah.
dealio. And I take it very seriously.
Uh-huh.
It's a great
Yeah.
responsibility, and I'm a humble servant. You just
Yep.
show up. You just show up. You know this. You show up.
Mhm.
You invite people to share. Where
Mhm.
2 or more are gathered, something happens that does not happen when we're by ourselves. And so
Right.
much of this I tell people, I don't invite because this work is invitation only. There's no should, there's no
Mm.
have to, there's no good, bad, right, or wrong. Everything
Mhm.
is welcome, and I do not invite anyone into anything that I am not actively doing myself,
Right.
'cause that would be just ridiculous.
Yes. I
So
guess I
we walk
never
the path
thought about
together.
that, yeah, but it's same thing, right? Like, I'm not
Yeah,
going to
you
ask you
know
to
it.
do
I
something
know
I'm
you
not
know it.
doing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just never thought about it that
exactly.
way, but it's exactly what I'm doing, yeah. I love
Yeah,
that. I love that.
yeah.
There's this other thing, like, so there's so many facets again to this. When I talk about, like, self-care, because I spend a lot of time there, because 'cause you've gotta be able to do, like, the basic things in order to take care of yourself, to do all the things we're gonna try to get to. But
For
music
sure.
is one of those things for, like, nervous system regulation and mood changing
Yes.
and the shifting and all of those things. You can use music to make any shift that you wanna make, and that is something that I talk about and I use. If you wanna go up, you wanna go down, you wanna be steady, whatever it is, you can use music to do that, and so I think that is one of the things that I find so interesting about this work and the intersection of what it is you're doing. So, sure, teaching the skill and teaching performance, but being able to change who you are or how you're responding to the world around you based on using your voice is really
Oh,
interesting.
yeah. Yeah. It is amazing. Again, I'm in awe, and it's so much not about perfectionism, and singers and
Mhm,
musicians in particular can really get hung up in perfectionism,
mhm,
and my one of my favorite words you are aligned with, which is resilience. And
mm,
singing is
mhm,
so good for resilience.
yep. Yes, and I think that perfectionism piece is important, so you don't have to be a performer to use this skill. I think I probably told you the story when we talked previously. I used to teach fitness classes, and I can't sing, I'm saying to save my life. Like, I do it, and, nobody's gonna pay me to do it. But when I would teach fitness classes, they were often, like, some sort of dance-based class or Zumba or something along those lines, and always at the cool down, I would sing the cool down, and it wasn't good, but I did it loud and people would join me, and it would just feel like this kumbaya moment of, like, we're all just ending, like, we just worked our butts off and we have sweat pouring off of us, and our bodies might hurt a little bit and we're hungry and now we're tired, but we are in this moment and we're gonna have some hugs at the end and just walk out of that space feeling so much better
Yes.
for
Yeah.
having almost made, like, a total fool of myself. I don't and I'm okay with that because that's just where we're at, and it feels fun at
Yeah.
that moment.
Yeah. And that is so liberating to
It
just sing,
is.
to
Yeah.
sing
I'm not doing it for
unabashedly.
your pleasure.
And that is okay, well, you kind of walked right into it. I wanna talk about this because it's such,
Yeah, do
again,
it.
a part of the work is, there's a difference between authentic singing and what I call look at me" singing, which is where I come
Yep,
from, and what that means is
yep,
that you're performing
mhm,
and you're singing because you need something,
yep,
because you're not connected with your power. I
mhm,
was not connected with my power. I wasn't in acceptance, 100% unconditional loving acceptance of myself. I didn't know
mhm,
who I was. My heart was broken. I was scared. I was frightened, and I
yep,
desperately needed approval. And it's a spectrum,
yes,
of course.
yes,
But to
mhm,
get to the point where you can just sing for yourself for the joy of it,
mhm,
that's what I wish for people. Having come from and career coming from an environment, engaged in an environment where being kind of an approval seeker can be such a part
Mhm.
of the experience. To be liberated
Mhm.
from that, that's
Yeah.
then
I I feel like
ah,
that has to be a part of performance, right? Like, you have to be looking for something or trying to not prove
yeah,
something, but you're trying to
yeah,
give something, and so are you giving
there
it
it
for the
is.
right reasons? Yep.
There it is. You're wanting to give something. You're wanting to be a conduit for love and light
Right.
and joy. Yeah,
Yep.
and to get to a point, honestly, where you don't really care what anyone thinks,
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
critically or positively.
Mhm.
Like, it's nice when people
Yeah.
say, "Yeah, you sounded great."
Sure. Feels great. It's not about
I
that.
don't I don't need that anymore.
Mhm. I feel like too, was it hard for you to make this transition knowing that as you're growing up, there is almost an expectation that's created because people are talking about your voice and the skill and what you could be doing with that. And so
Oh, yes.
there becomes an expectation and then that performance piece becomes something very
Yes.
different. And so how do
Yes.
you make that transition and how do other people in the field accept what you're doing?
Oh, also great question. I'm still growing in still
Yeah.
growing in that, for reals. Um, yeah, and honestly, the path template, 'cause I have a whole protocol around the path work, which is regulate your nervous system, uh, assess and align with power. And by
Mhm.
power, I mean, I'm in power. I'm in my power. You're in your power.
Mhm.
We're in our power together. Let's play. It's not power
Mhm.
over, it's power
Right.
with, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
power
Yeah.
has gotten a bum rap
Mhm.
in our culture. Power inherently is not a bad thing if it's power with, it's about sovereignty, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, that template, aligning with power, making peace with what is. If there's something in life that's troubling you and you're resistant about it, you make peace with it. It doesn't mean you're happy about it, you're thrilled about it. It means it is what it is. You can argue against reality until you're blue in the face.
Mhm.
It is what it is, though. And then what? Your power lies in your ability to choose how you're going to respond rather than react to
Mhm.
whatever is happening in your life. And
Yep.
you make those choices based on knowing your values, what you
Mhm.
stand for, what you live by, and you endeavor to be a lover in the world. If your heart needs mending, you do what it takes to mend your heart so that it can be open and radiating love and light. Now,
Mhm.
again, it's not about perfectionism. We talk about dynamic alignment. We're in and out of alignment all the time. I'm no master of this. I'm human. I'm in reaction all the time. However,
Mhm.
back to come back around to your original question is how do you
Yeah.
grow? How do you
Yeah.
grow up? For me, it's the path template.
Yep.
I dynamically align. I come back to myself over and over and over again. And
Mhm.
my voice is along for
Mhm.
the ride.
Yep. Yep. I love that. You know, that made me think of something else that it was an experience that I had. So a couple of years ago, there was a woman that I work with that invited me on a girls' weekend, and I kind of knew her, and I am not one that puts myself out there for, like, strangers or which is also weird for me to sit here and say as I put my life on display on a regular basis, but I'm not one to go and spend a weekend with people that I don't know. Like, I don't know that I would be comfortable doing this. But she gave me this invitation and said, "I really feel like this is a space you're supposed to be in. I won this house in a town an hour or so away from us for a weekend, and it's me and my longtime girlfriend, and we just think that you should be there. Here's who she is and what she does. You know what I do, and I'd like to share that with your work with her as well." And I was like, "Oh no, too much. Can't do that." Was my immediate reaction. I went, "No, no, hold on. You need maybe to lean into this." And so I ended up going, and these 2 ladies have ended up being the most, like, bright lights in my life. The other woman is from several hours away. She doesn't live that close to us, but, we are in regular touch. And, she has ended up being my second Reiki teacher as we've worked through some of these things. So we did some things this weekend. We just had a blast. There was no expectation, but we had our oracle cards and we were doing all kinds of practices and just sharing with each other what we do. And at the end of the weekend, Christine, one of the women, said, "Let's just share an Om to close the weekend."
Oh,
And I was like, "Let's do that." And we did. And I have never felt something so powerful in my entire life, just the 3 of us sharing an Om. And I was like, "Oh, I wanna do it again." And they were like, "No, you're gonna be a problem here in a minute." But it was so strong, and it just reverberated through my entire body. And I promise you, like, that weekend was powerful for me, but that moment created a shift in me that I believe over the last couple of years has really meant something for me. And so I think what I wanted to like, the point of that is, 1 is, like, that's how you can use your voice, and that's an example of how it's impacted me. But 2, it doesn't have to be singing, right? There are ways to use your voice that
exactly.
is not just singing.
It's
And so talk about that
absolutely
for a
correct.
moment. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, so much. Well, like I said, we're singing all the time.
Mhm.
There's tone of voice, there's silence, there's
Mhm.
pitch, right? There's
Right.
speed,
Yep.
there's rhythm, right? And if
Mhm.
I'm sure you've experienced this before where somebody is upset with you
Oh, you
and
know.
they bark at you. It's short,
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
edgy.
Mhm.
How does that feel in your body?
Oh, my goodness, you know it immediately, don't you?
Ah! And that's why
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
take this so seriously and how we use our voice, it's such a great responsibility. If I'm talking to somebody that I care about, how I'm using my voice is going to impact the quality of my relationship with them.
Mm. Mhm.
And we cannot you said it yourself, you did an "Om"
Mhm.
with your
Right.
friends, and
Yeah. It was a breath and a sound.
it was an amazing experience. We cannot
Mhm.
use our voices with any kind of intentionality and be unchanged.
Mhm.
Vibration changes matter. I mean, you're a scientist.
Oh,
We
vibration.
can go down that we can go down that deep
Yes.
rabbit hole ad
Yep.
infinitum, right?
Mhm.
I'm not extremely versed in that aspect of it, but I know enough to know
Yep.
that how
Yep.
we are using our voice is very, very important in terms of how our world is shaping itself around us.
Yeah, and then what you bring back in, right? Because we know what you're putting out there is circling back around to you, and so how you're
I
showing up
agree.
and what you're putting out there is going to come back.
I
That's
agree
so good.
completely.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that keeps coming up for me as we're talking. Recently, and this is I say recently, but it's not new, but it's not going away either, is, I do a lot of energy work and around chakras and whatnot, and so, of course, if we're talking about voice, we're gonna be talking about the throat chakra and what happens there, and you talked about
Mhm.
power, and I think there is something very significant to be said about the throat chakra and how you're speaking and communicating, but I think there's more too that I'm curious how you feel about. So, control and boundary setting and ability to communicate those boundaries. And then there's this other thing that I am really noticing, especially with women, that has to do with being in a car. And it has to do with like getting car sick or struggling with
Oh,
being a passenger. And so maybe having some anxiety or things along those lines. And for all of the people that I've seen this with, for every one of them, it has come back to their throat chakra, and it is about the control and the security that they have around their boundaries and the
yeah.
control and their comfortability in that area. So I'm curious, does that resonate with you? Does that feel like
Oh,
something?
certainly, certainly.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful things we can do for ourselves is learn to and get very comfortable with saying, "No,
Mhm.
this is not okay with me. This is
Right.
untenable."
Mhm.
Knowing that in our power, we can choose how we're going to respond to it, which can include we're going to stay in this and have it out and
Mhm.
come to some kind of workability, or we can step away from it. No,
Yeah, yeah.
I will not ride in this car with this person anymore.
Mhm.
I actually have some experience with that. I don't want to get too personal about that. but, as a young child, feeling uncomfortable in cars,
Mhm. Yeah,
and not feeling like because when we're children, we don't know that we can speak up for ourselves.
right. Well, and sometimes you can't. It
Many,
doesn't work,
many
right?
don't. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. But, that's why, it's all connected, right?
Mhm.
So into I'm struggling with, like, where to which
Right.
thread to pull
Which
on first
direction?
because 'cause they're all connected, right? If I pull on one, then there's another one. So,
Yep.
you know this, if you decide, "I wanna open my crown chakra,"
Mhm.
but you're completely disconnected from your root chakra,
Mhm.
that's gonna be a really interesting ride. Like, to
Right.
open up
It's not gonna
here,
feel great.
you really need to ideally, you're really grounded in your root chakra so that you can
Right.
hold everything in between,
Yep.
right? And relative to that and voice plus power, to
Mhm.
be able to say no, you have to own yourself enough to know what is acceptable to you, what is not acceptable to you, and when you're gonna say so.
Mhm.
So again, like, oh, I can't. If someone comes to me and they're like, oh, I'm in this situation and I feel like I can't say anything, or anytime I go to say anything, my throat shuts down.
Yep.
A traditional voice teacher would be like, oh, well, let's slap some, and I'm generalizing here.
Right, right. Yep.
Let's slap some vocal technique on that so that
Mhm.
you can have a strong voice to be able to speak up. That's inside out.
Yeah.
No,
Sure.
that's
That's
outside
the
in.
yep.
Excuse
Yep.
me.
Yep.
It starts with a power first.
Mhm.
To love and respect yourself enough and to be sovereign enough that you
Mhm.
can, even though if it feels a little hot and maybe you break a little sweat when you do it,
Mhm.
you can say, "No, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yep. I think the
Absolutely not."
sovereign yeah,
And
sovereign is the
and
key, right?
it
Yeah,
is,
go ahead.
yes.
Mhm.
And this is like
Yeah, do it.
I love this. To be able to say, here it comes, wait for it. Yes.
Mm. Mhm.
Yes, and I
Yes,
know
yes,
you know
yes.
this. You talk about
Yes.
resilience, right?
Yep.
I'm not here to
Mhm.
just survive. I
Mhm.
was for a long time, but then, you get a
Right.
little older, your kids grow up, and you're like,
Yep.
"I'm not here to just survive. I'm here to thrive, and I wanna play with
Yes.
people who wanna thrive too." Where's your yes? Where
Yes.
can you say yes to yourself? Every time you say no to something, you're saying yes to something much
That's
more
so good.
significant.
Yep,
So
so
that's
good.
where I go with
And each
that.
one of the instances that I'm thinking about where there's the throat chakra is creating this barrier for these people in terms of riding in a car, it's got nothing to do with the car. It doesn't have anything to do with who's
That's right.
driving.
Yes,
It's
that's right.
because they have some situation in their life that they have not said no, which is probably stopping them from saying yes to something they really want. And or it's even something that goes back to childhood or some sort of trauma or emotional abuse,
Well,
or there's some
oh,
root cause there.
we're so simpatico, and
Right, right.
it bears, mentioning when we're talking about trauma. Some trauma is deep trauma,
Mm,
and the
yep.
work that we do in the Path Studio,
Mhm.
sometimes I'm like, "Ugh, am I a therapist?" And I have my limits, it's above my
Yep,
pay grade.
yep.
There's a time and a place to get a different kind of help.
Mhm.
Trauma
Always.
is nothing to shrug off as no big deal.
Mhm.
It is a big deal, and
Right.
when someone's throat is shutting down and they cannot speak,
Mhm.
there's a spectrum,
Yep.
and I do what I can, and
Mhm.
then there's someone for everyone. There's help
It
out there
sometimes
for
more than
people who
one,
need
right?
deeper
Yeah.
help, sometimes more than one, and I do work with
Uh-huh.
people who have therapists,
Mhm.
and that actually is very powerful work.
Mhm. I love that so much. I think it's so true. And the power, like I keep coming back to power and sovereignty. Like those are I think
It's
those
a
are
big
our
deal.
takeaways today to say like if you are willing to lean into this and this is something that comes up too. Like if you start thinking about this and you start to get uncomfortable, yeah, it's time to lean in a little bit. It's time
That's
to
right.
because that's where when you if you are willing to go through what is not just rainbows and butterflies and sort of come out the
Absolutely.
other side of that, man,
Yeah. It's
that's where you
fire.
land in a place. Yes.
Yeah. It's fire.
Yes.
It's cathartic. It's transformation. It's alchemy, you know? And
Yes.
and I
So
always tell
good.
people when I'm working with them that, my job is to notice what's going on in someone, and they have their finger on the thermostat all the time.
Mhm.
So, if you say, "Lean into it, walk through
Mhm.
fire,"
Mhm.
willingness, readiness, and it's
Yep.
also okay to say, "Whoa, this is too hot. I need to step off of this and take a little break
Mhm.
and come back around it
Yep.
again," is
There's
really
no perfect
important.
path. Yep.
There yeah,
Everybody's is
except
a little bit
and it's
different.
all perfect, right? Perfectly
Yep.
imperfect, yes.
100%. Awesome.
Mm.
Is there if there was one thing that you could say, start small with this one little thing, do you have any ideas what that might be? I'm putting you totally on the spot here.
To, sing for the joy of it.
Just to sing for the joy of it. I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
to give
Yeah.
oneself permission to
Uh-huh.
sing just for the joy of it.
Mhm.
In environments that feel good and safe and true and right to do that.
Mhm.
Yep. And that can bring on heat for people to just
Mhm.
show up with a song
Yep.
in their car. Do you sing in the car?
I do a lot.
My favorite place.
Me
Talk
too.
about therapy. It's cheap
Oh,
therapy. Hit the road,
yes, the
hit the
acoustics are
accelerator
amazing.
pedal, and sing my guts out.
Yeah, and
Like,
again, I
that's
have
like
playlists for different purposes, like, yeah, it just depends on what I'm looking
yes,
for. Yeah.
yes. Generally
Amanda
speaking, it's
Sproul's
yes,
I
I
love
love
that.
Amanda,
Amanda Sproul,
yeah.
so she's the one that connected us,
Yeah,
and one
yes,
of
yes.
the things
Thank you,
that she and
Amanda.
I talked about yeah, and that was fantastic. So she was on a month or 2 ago. We have some similar somatic coaching, and she shared a song with us that was her favorite song, and I was like, "Oh, I have to go and look for that song." And when I went and listened to the song, and it was "I Release Control," and I forget who the artist is, um, I was like, "That's in my playlist already, and I know the words to this song." And so now every time I hear it, it's doubly wonderful because I think of her and how she uses it for herself, and then I can lean into that for me
It's
too.
exactly right,
It's such a good
and
song to sing
it's
along
a
to
great
as
song.
well.
It's a
Oh my
great song.
goodness.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and, so oftentimes I find, as since you asked, and
Mhm,
as I'm thinking about it, I think more often than not, people just need encouragement
mhm.
to, uh, give themselves permission to have it,
Yes. Yep.
to have a relationship with their voice.
Mhm,
Permission, just to
mhm.
give yourself no one's gonna give it to you. They can
Yep,
try, but it comes from within. It's
yep.
like, "Yeah, I am a singer. I
Yes.
know that about
Yep.
myself. I am a
Whether
singer."
someone's gonna pay you to do it or not,
Yes,
sing away.
exactly, exactly, and so are you,
Yeah.
by the way, a singer.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I also think too, like if you are into meditation practices or yoga or walking, whatever it is, use it. You use your voice, use the sound. And it doesn't
Yes,
like we were saying, it doesn't have to be words. It can be sounds that are accompanying the movement that you're doing.
any sounds,
That
it
feels
could be so
great.
small. Mhm,
Mhm. Yeah.
mhm. There it is, there's a song right there. Mhm.
Mhm. We're gonna spend the rest of our time, mhm. And right, I mean, that's another one, right? Laughter. I laugh constantly. Someone just
Yes.
said to me yesterday, when we met 10 years ago, I
Aw.
didn't have any idea what you were doing. I didn't know why you were put in the position that you were put in and the reason that we were brought together. And I don't remember much about that meeting, but I remember that you laughed. And that, like, I
Oh.
laugh constantly. And so that was important to me to hear because that made that person feel comfortable in the situation. So
Yes.
I
Yes.
appreciated that.
Well, I love that. Yeah, and singing is definitely laughing is definitely a song, and,
Mhm.
I do have a propensity to take myself a little too seriously, and I have to remind myself, and I have people in my life who remind me
Yep,
as well to just relax a little bit and lighten
yep.
up, and laughter is indeed good medicine.
Oh, I agree with that. I love that. All right. I love this conversation. I feel like we could go
Me
for 4 more
too.
hours, but we
Fun.
won't do that. Everybody else has something to do.
Exactly.
So I love so tell us about the
Um,
path of the authentic voice and if there is anything else that you'd like to leave the audience with.
I just, BethNoelle.com,
Mhm.
Noelle. All the information about me is on there, contact information is there. If anything that Tanya and I have talked about today turns you on and you're interested, reach out to me. I'll have an introductory meet up with you and talk with you and just if you would like to be connected with your voice and feel that I might be of service to you, I'm here. Just reach out. I'd be happy to hear from anyone.
Fantastic. I will also put the link in the notes in the show notes so that
Thank
everyone
you.
has access to
Thank
that as
you.
well.
And
All
I
right. Mhm.
celebrate you, and
Oh,
wish you
thank
well
you.
on your book launch and
Thank you.
wish it
So nice.
longevity. And thank you for speaking with me today, inviting me to come
Oh,
talk
I'm
with
so
you.
happy that you were able to join us. This was such an amazing conversation. If this conversation lit something up in you, I really want you to follow that spark. So either reach out to Beth or maybe the Radical Resilience Workbook and audio journey will be dropping on Black Friday. So just in a couple of days, depending on when you're listening to this. And that is your science meets soul reset that is so necessary for this season. And then to celebrate, I want to hear your voice. So send me an email at info@drtanyab.com with your favorite song to sing along to. And if you want bonus points, give me in one sentence how you feel about that song, how that song makes you feel. And then that email will equal your entry to win the Radical Resilience Bundle, which again is the workbook and the audio journey. So winners will be announced on Cyber Monday. My friend, your voice is your power and your truth is your medicine. Until next time, I love you.